Hey, beloved, have you ever wondered how much of last year was spent surviving versus thriving? What if I told you that reflecting on the past could unlock the key to living with purpose this year? Today, we're going to dive into a very simple, heart centered way to plan your best year yet. As we step into this new year, I want to invite you to pause and take a moment to reflect on where God has brought you from and where He's leading you to next. I did another video on this channel which goes into a more detailed way of looking at your star moments and your rough patches in life and seeing where God was in the midst of them and using an acronym called GROW to continue to plan your year ahead. This is going to be a very simplified version, especially for those of you who may not have a lot of time to sit and reflect on this past year so that you can move into this next year with a solid plan going forward. Reflection isn't just about reliving the past, it's about recognizing how God was at present in your life each and every moment of the day, the good, the hard, and even the mundane times of our life. Think about it. Where did you notice God at work in your life last year? Maybe there were moments of incredible joy and times maybe where He carried you through deep struggles. I want you to note those down because those can give you keys onto where God is leading you in this new year. Take time to notice how He was present in every area of your life. So as we begin our time of reflection, we first need to break down our lives into 7 key areas. For each area, I want you to ask yourself these 2 questions. How did I see God at work in this area of life last year? What are 2 simple goals I want to set for this area in the year ahead? Here are 7 key areas I want you to apply these questions to. Key area number 1, your spiritual faith life and your relationship with God. How did God strengthen or grow your faith last year? Maybe you started a new Bible study or learned to trust Him more. Maybe you had a difficult season and He was with you throughout each moment of the day. As you think about this area of life, consider setting goals like committing to quiet time with God, joining a small group, and deepening your prayer life. And I want you to ask these questions of this area. How did I see God at work in your spiritual faith and relationship with God life last year? And what are 2 simple goals that you want to set for your spiritual and your relationship with God life this year ahead? Key area number 2, your personal life and self-care. Mind, body, and soul. Did you make time for rest and self-care last year? Remember, self-care isn't selfish. It's stewardship of your body and the soul that God has given you. Perhaps your goal this year is to develop a better sleep routine, journal more consistently, spend more time in intentional relationships with your friends or family, or take regular walks in nature. Whatever it is, be sure that they can be things that bring you a sense of peace and calm. Now, I want you to ask these 2 questions of this area. How did I see God at work in my personal life and self-care life this last year? And what are 2 simple goals that I can set for this self-care and personal life area in the year ahead? Key area number 3 is your work and business life. Where did you see God work in your job or your business? How did you see God work in you, in your work, your role, or your business? Were there moments where He guided you in tough decisions or opened new doors for your work or business? Your goal here is to try to include maybe improving a skill for this next year, setting a healthy work boundary, or maybe finding ways to serve others through your work. Now I want you to ask these 2 questions of this area. How did I see God at work in my work and my business life this last year? What are 2 goals I can set for my work and business life in the year ahead? Key area number 4, your family life. How did God show His faithfulness in your family relationships last year? Did you notice growth, healing, or moments of deep connection? Your goal might be to spend time in intentionality with your family, maybe prioritize your family meals or pray together more regularly. Create routines and rhythms of rest and Sabbath with your family. This is also going to be an area where you plan goals for your marriage, your role as a mom or dad, or for your children. Now, I want you to ask these two questions of this area. How did I see God at work in this area of my life last year? And what are one or two simple goals I want to set for my family life this year ahead? Key area number 5, your community. How did God connect you with others in your community last year? Were there moments when you felt God calling you to serve or encourage someone? Or how did God work in your group of friends or your neighbors? Think about goals like volunteering, maybe being more intentional with your neighbors, developing deeper friendships, or joining a ministry. Ask these two questions of this area. How did I see God at work in my community this last year? And what are one or two goals that I want to set for this area in the year ahead? Key area number 6, your financial life. How did you see God provide for your needs last year? Did He guide you in stewardship, saving, or giving? This year, your goal might be to create a budget, start saving for a specific purpose, or give more generously. Whatever it is, think about how you can partner with God this year and become more generous in your life through your finances. Now ask yourself these two questions in this area. How did I see God at work in this area of my life last year? What are two simple goals I can set for this area in my life in the year ahead? And our final key area, number 7, our health. How did God take care of your health last year? Were there victories in areas that you may have needed more attention in? Or maybe did God carry you through difficulties and diseases and things that you may have dealt with last year? Goals here could include creating healthier rhythms of exercise, planning regular checkups with your doctor, or eating better, or prioritizing mental health. Ask yourself these two questions of this area. How did I see God at work in this area of the life last year? And what are 1 to 2 simple goals that I want to set for my health in the year ahead? So let me share a quick, simple story from my own life. Last year, one of my goals and my star moments was a deepening prayer life with God. I had to rely on God in ways I had never relied on Him before. I was going through a tough season of rebuilding my life, and I needed God more than ever. The beautiful thing is that He showed up in my life in big and small areas. But the key is that I had to pay attention and look for His fingerprints in my life. God's fingerprints are everywhere in our lives. They are those unmistakable signs of His presence and guidance and love in both big and small areas. These signs of His presence can be in the small, everyday, mundane moments, as well as the extraordinary experiences in our life. They can remind us that in and through all things, God is with you, that we can trust in His hand that is guiding you even today. What about you? How have you seen God's faithfulness even in the hard places? As you think about your goals this year, remember Proverbs 16:3. Commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. Your goals don't have to be big. They don't have to be overwhelming or complex. In fact, I encourage you to keep your goals simple and prayerful. Start small and ask God for guidance in setting these goals that align with His purpose for your life. The reason you don't want to get too complex with your goals is because we all know the resolutions that we probably have not completed from 20 years ago. But the biggest thing that we can do is set simple goals. When we set simple goals, we know that we can achieve them because they are achievable and that they are actually, in a sense, time-bound. Think of like SMART goals. When you set simple goals, goals that you know you can achieve, then once you finish that, you can set another goal and keep going forward. Write your goals down as you pray over them and ask God to show you the next steps to take. He may even re-clarify a goal and change it completely. So take it in prayer to God. You don't need to have it all figured out today. Just take the first step and start planning where you see God work in last year and how He might be working in your life this year. And remember, reflecting on the past and planning for the future isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about walking in step with God and trusting Him to guide you every day. I'd love to hear from you though. Share in the comments one goal that you're setting for this year. And I'd be honored to pray for you as you step into this new season. If this video encouraged you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need a little bit of faith-based inspiration. And stay tuned because we're going to talk about more creating of rhythms in our life in this year to help us to live an unhurried pace, a more sacred pace, and to step out of the hurried life that we often live in this world today. But before I go, I want you to remember you are loved. So let's be the beloved, let's live as the beloved, and let's radiate God's love everywhere we go.